Welcome back to Fairy Tales English Journey. Today we will explore a wonderful story from ancient Japan. Have you ever felt too small to make a big difference in the world? Our hero today is no taller than a single inch, yet he has the heart of a brave warrior. Let us begin our amazing adventure together. Imagine a world where magic and bravery go hand in hand. In this story you will learn that true strength does not come from your physical size. True strength comes from your courage and your clever mind. Our tiny hero will face giant dangers. He will prove that anyone can be a great hero with enough determination. As we travel through this classic Japanese fairy tale, you will also learn many helpful English words. Listen closely to how the characters speak and act. This story is perfect for practicing your English listening skills. Get ready to meet a very special boy who changes his own destiny. Let us dive into the beautiful story now. Long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by green mountains, lived a kind old man and a kind old woman. They were very happy together, but they had one great sadness in their lives. They did not have any children. Every single day, they prayed to the gods for a child to love and to care for. The old couple visited the local temple every morning. They bowed their heads and asked the heavens for a baby. They said they would be happy with any child, even if the baby was as small as a fingertip. Their hearts were full of love and they simply wanted a family to share their peaceful country home. One beautiful sunny morning, their sincere prayers were finally answered. The old woman gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. The couple was overjoyed and cried tears of happiness. However, they soon noticed something very unusual about their new son. The tiny baby boy was only 1 inch tall. He was the smallest baby in the world. Because the little boy was only 1 inch tall, his proud parents named him Issun-boshi. In the Japanese language, this name means the 1-inch boy. The old man and the old woman loved him very much. They made tiny clothes for him and fed him with great care. They hoped he would grow big and strong. Years passed by and the seasons changed many times. Issun-boshi grew older and much smarter. However, his body did not grow at all. He remained exactly 1 inch tall. Other children in the village sometimes laughed at him because of his small size. But Issun-boshi never let their unkind words break his strong and brave spirit. Despite his tiny size, Issun-boshi had a very big heart. He was incredibly polite and always helped his parents with their daily chores. He was also very brave and dreamed of becoming a great samurai warrior. A samurai is a noble warrior who protects people and fights for justice. Issun-boshi wanted to protect the innocent. One quiet evening, Issun-boshi sat with his parents by the warm fire. He respectfully bowed to them and shared his secret dream. He told them he wanted to travel to the great capital city of Kyoto. He wanted to study hard and become a noble samurai. His parents were very worried about his safety in the big world. The old man and the old woman knew they could not stop him. They saw the bright fire of courage shining in his tiny eyes. They decided to help him prepare for his long journey. Because he was so small, they had to create special tools for him. Normal travel gear would be much too heavy and large. His father found a beautiful wooden soup bowl. This smooth wooden bowl would serve as a strong boat for the tiny boy. His mother gave him a single wooden chopstick to use as an oar. With this chopstick, he could paddle his bowl boat down the long winding river. Issun-boshi was very grateful for these clever gifts. A samurai always needs a sharp sword to defend himself. His mother took a shiny sewing needle and gave it to her brave son. This sharp needle became his mighty sword. His father made a tiny scabbard out of a piece of dry straw to hold the needle safely. Now Issun-boshi looked like a real noble warrior. The day of his departure finally arrived. Issun-boshi wore his tiny sword at his side and carried his chopstick oar. He walked to the edge of the rushing river and placed his wooden bowl in the water. He hugged his parents and promised to make them proud. Then he jumped into his little boat and sailed away. The river journey was very dangerous for someone so small. Huge fish swam right past his wooden bowl and giant frogs croaked loudly on the muddy banks. The water currents were fast and strong. But Issun-boshi paddled with all his might using his wooden chopstick. He stayed focused and never lost his courage during the scary trip. After many long days and dark nights on the rushing river, Issun-boshi finally saw the great city of Kyoto. The city was massive and filled with busy people and grand wooden buildings. He steered his little bull boat to the shore and stepped onto the solid ground. He was amazed by the sights and sounds around him. Issun-boshi walked through the crowded city streets. Giant feet stepped all around him, but he carefully dodged them. He asked the local people where he could find the most powerful lord in the city. A kind merchant pointed him toward a magnificent palace with beautiful gardens. Issun-boshi marched straight toward the grand gates of the palace. When he reached the grand palace, he called out to the guards. The tall guards looked around but could not see anyone. Issun-boshi yelled louder and told them to look down at their shoes. The guards were shocked to see a tiny boy carrying a needle sword. They had never seen such a brave little person before. The guards decided to take the tiny boy to their powerful lord. The lord was sitting in a grand room filled with beautiful painted screens. Issun-boshi bowed deeply and respectfully. He introduced himself and asked to work for the lord. He promised to be a loyal and brave servant despite his very small physical size. The powerful lord laughed a deep, booming laugh. He thought it was very funny that a boy the size of a thumb wanted to be a samurai, but he also admired the polite manners and the clear bravery of Issun-boshi. The lord decided to hire him as a special companion and protector for his beautiful young daughter. The young princess was very kind and gentle. When she met Issun-boshi, she was delighted by his charming personality and his brave spirit. She did not treat him like a toy or a joke. She treated him with great respect and care. They quickly became very good friends and spent many happy hours reading and talking together. Issun-boshi took his new job very seriously. He stayed by the side of the princess every single day. He practiced his sword skills using his sharp needle. He wanted to be ready in case any danger ever threatened his dear friend. The other servants smiled at him, but Issun-boshi knew he was a true samurai warrior. One beautiful spring morning, the princess decided to visit a famous temple on a high mountain. She wanted to pray and enjoy the lovely cherry blossoms. She took her loyal servants and Issun-boshi with her. The journey up the mountain was peaceful, and the warm sun shone brightly through the tall green trees. Everyone felt very happy. As they walked deeper into the mountain forest, the sky suddenly grew dark. The wind began to howl through the branches and the birds stopped singing. A terrible shadow fell over the path. Suddenly, a terrifying giant monster jumped out from behind a large rock. It was an evil giant with sharp teeth and messy wild hair. The evil giant roared loudly and blocked the narrow dirt path. The servants were absolutely terrified and ran away in panic. They left the poor princess all alone with the scary monster. The giant reached out his massive hand to grab the beautiful princess. He wanted to take her away to his dark and lonely mountain cave. The princess screamed and covered her eyes in fear. But Issun-boshi did not run away. He stood firmly in front of the princess and drew his sharp needle sword. He shouted at the evil giant in a loud and brave voice. He commanded the monster to leave the princess alone and go back to his dark cave. The giant looked down and saw the tiny boy shouting at him. He laughed a wicked and cruel laugh. The giant thought Issun-boshi was just a little bug. He did not take the tiny samurai seriously at all. Without a second thought, the giant reached down and picked up the brave little boy with 2 dirty fingers. Before Issun-boshi could swing his needle sword, the giant opened his huge mouth and swallowed the tiny boy whole. The princess cried out in horror as her brave little friend disappeared into the dark throat of the monster. The giant patted his stomach and smiled an evil smile. He thought he had easily defeated the tiny warrior. But the giant made a very big mistake. Issun-boshi was still holding his sharp needle sword tightly in his hand. He slid down the dark and slimy throat of the monster and landed right inside the giant's stomach. It was dark and scary inside, but the tiny samurai did not panic. He knew exactly what he must do. Issun-boshi raised his shiny needle sword and began to stab the inside of the giant's stomach. He poked and jabbed with all of his mighty strength. He ran around inside the belly, striking again and again. The sharp needle caused the giant a great amount of pain. The monster started to groan and hold his big stomach. The giant howled in terrible agony. He did not understand why his stomach hurt so much. He rolled on the ground and cried out for the pain to stop. Issun-boshi kept stabbing and shouting brave battle cries from inside. He wanted to make sure the monster would never ever try to hurt the kind princess again. The pain became too much for the evil giant to handle. He opened his huge mouth and coughed as hard as he could. With a mighty cough, he spat Issun-boshi right out onto the green grass. The tiny samurai landed perfectly on his feet. He pointed his sharp needle sword right at the nose of the giant. The giant was absolutely terrified of this fierce little warrior. He realized that size meant nothing against such incredible bravery. Crying in pain and fear, the monster turned around and ran away as fast as his big legs could carry him. He ran deep into the dark mountain forest and promised never to return to that peaceful place. The princess was so happy and relieved. She gently picked up her brave little protector and thanked him with all her heart. Issun-boshi smiled and bowed to his dear friend. He was just glad that she was perfectly safe. As they looked at the dirt path, they noticed something very strange lying on the green grass. In his great panic, the evil giant had dropped a very special object. It was a magical wooden mallet. The princess recognized it immediately from old mountain legends. She told Issun-boshi that it was a magic wishing mallet. If you tap the mallet on the ground and make a wish, your special wish will instantly come true. The princess smiled brightly and held the heavy wooden mallet in her hands. She asked her brave little samurai what he would like to wish for. Issun-boshi looked at his tiny hands and his needle sword. He took a deep breath and said he wished to be the size of a normal grown man. The princess nodded and gently tapped the magic mallet on the solid ground. She chanted a magical song and wished for Issun-boshi to grow tall. Suddenly, a sparkling golden light surrounded the tiny warrior. The magical light was so bright that the princess had to close her eyes for a brief moment. The forest felt completely silent. When the bright golden light finally faded away, the princess opened her eyes in pure amazement. Issun-boshi was no longer a tiny 1-inch boy. He had grown into a tall, handsome, and very strong young man. He looked at his large hands and his long legs with absolute joy. His greatest wish had finally come true. Issun-boshi and the beautiful princess returned to the grand palace in the city. The powerful lord was shocked to see the tall, handsome warrior standing beside his lovely daughter. The princess told her father the entire amazing story. She explained how the brave little samurai had defeated the terrible giant and saved her life in the forest. The powerful lord was deeply impressed by the incredible bravery of Issun-boshi. He realized that this young man was a true noble samurai in both his heart and his actions. The lord rewarded him with great wealth and a beautiful shiny real sword. Issun-boshi was finally recognized as the great warrior he always wanted to be. Issun-boshi never forgot his loving parents who supported his early dreams. He sent his fast messengers to his quiet home village. He invited the kind old man and the kind old woman to live with him in the great capital city. They were so happy and proud to see their wonderful son all grown up and successful. A few years later, Issun-boshi and the beautiful princess were married in a grand royal ceremony. The entire city celebrated their wonderful love and their amazing story. They lived a long and very happy life together. Issun-boshi continued to protect the innocent people, and he became one of the greatest samurai in all of Japanese history. This classic story teaches us a very important and beautiful lesson. You do not need to be the biggest or the strongest person to achieve great things in life. Issun-boshi was only 1 inch tall, but he had the courage of a giant. His brave heart and his clever mind helped him overcome impossible and scary challenges. We often face big problems in our own lives that make us feel very small and completely helpless. When you feel this way, always remember the brave story of the tiny samurai. Your size and your background do not define your true power. Your determination and your belief in yourself are the most powerful weapons you can possess. Issun-boshi also teaches us the great value of using what we have. He did not complain about his tiny wooden bowl or his simple chopstick oar. He used his simple tools with great skill and confidence. He turned a basic sewing needle into a mighty weapon of justice. We should always make the best of our own resources. Learning the English language can sometimes feel like a giant monster standing in your path. It might seem too big and too difficult to defeat. But if you keep practicing every single day, you will slowly conquer it. Just like Issun-boshi, you must take small, brave steps forward. Never give up on your beautiful dreams of learning. True heroes are made of kindness and courage and love. The princess showed great kindness by respecting the tiny boy. Issun-boshi showed great love by protecting his dear friend. When we treat others with respect and stand up for what is right, we become heroes in our own unique way. Always keep your heart pure and brave. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful fairy tales English journey today. We hope you enjoyed the magical story of Issun-boshi and learned some valuable new words. Practice telling this amazing story to your friends and your family. Speaking out loud is a fantastic way to improve your English speaking and listening skills every day. If you loved this brave adventure, please give this video a big thumbs up and share it with your fellow English learners. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more magical fairy tales and helpful language lessons. We have many more exciting stories from all around the world waiting just for you in our next magical videos.